Welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we're going to go over 5 things that they do not tell you about sim racing. These are 5 things I kind of wish I knew before getting into it, and if you have some more questions, please comment below. If you want some more clarification or anything, if you like the video, please like and subscribe and support me as my journey as I go from sim racing to real enthusiast car and real life. So alright, so with starting off with number 5 is novelty. So having that first sim racing setup is like the most freeing feeling. It's super cool. It's your first time ever experiencing it. Let me get in front of these cars. Yeah, slow. But you know, it's the first time you ever experienced it. So I started on a Logitech I think 2903, whatever it is, the PlayStation version. Started off with that. Had the pedals, the shifter, Logitech shifter, everything, that full setup. And I was rocking single screen. And when I first got it, I was in college and I was doing it over you know, graduation week, like the week before the senior week. And I was, you know, driving on it maybe 4 or 5 hours a day, having lots of fun, cutting up on a Assetto Corsa, you know, just kind of just cruising and really enjoying it. And yes, as you upgrade, you know, you're gonna have better equipment, but you know, it's not gonna be as cool as your first time. It's not gonna be as memorable. Not to say I don't like my setup now, and it's really great and I'm really happy with it, but it doesn't really beat that first feeling when you first started. So when you're thinking about upgrading, don't think that more upgrades are just gonna like make you feel better about your experience. In some ways, yes, it will, but you also have to be kind of thoughtful about, you know, what you want in your setup and what you're trying to get. You know, are you doing it for, you know, the looks of it? Are you getting it for the feels, or does it improve your overall experience? So I just think about that kind of stuff. All right, so for the number 2 is future proofing versus being cheap. So this is one thing I wish I looked into, because sim racing, as if you're in it or if you're not in it, it's a very expensive hobby, and you don't want to keep rebuying things because you keep getting more and more into it. Obviously, I think you should definitely not go all out if you know it's something you're not interested in. But at the same time, once you're, you know, hooked to it, you know, make sure you're actually looking into the stuff you're buying and looking into what people are upgrading into. So if it's for example, wheelbase, if the people are constantly upgrading their wheelbase to this wheelbase and they're not upgrading much more than that, that should be the one you should be going after. If you want more in-depth details, or kind of where I'm getting at with this, I'll follow this up with a follow-up video to kind of answer those questions of what an upgrade path should actually look like. Because I see a lot of people on social media and the YouTubers, they kind of give their own upgrade path, but they're doing all their sponsorship, you know, deals and, you know, $250 wheel stands and all that stuff like that, in which you can make your budget stretch and actually kind of get actually what you want out of a setup. So I'll make a follow-up video with that. But then also it comes to your PC. So if you're upgrading your setup with VR, triple screen, ultra wides, your PC has to be able to support that. So that's another thing you have to think about. Not only future-proofing your setup so you're not constantly rebuying things, and also your PC setup so you're not also constantly upgrading your PC setup to support your habit and to support your setup. That goes into 3 is the high PC demand. So not only do you need to future-proof your PC, but it gives you, sim racing gives you an illusion of your PC is worse than it is. For example, I've had PC for a few years now, 1440p. I ran the 6600X AMD, and then I have a 7800X XT right now. You know, I used to be able to run all my games no problem. I have a 170 hertz monitor, you know, get really good frames and everything. I played, you know, first person shooters, COD, Fort, like all that stuff. But now with sim racing, you know, you're happy to even get 60 or 90 FPS, and you have to kind of be okay with that and not notice that you're not going to push these insane frames, especially when you're doing stuff like triple screens. You got triple the pixels, or 4K, or VR, which is pretty much, 4K and above, 5K. You're not going to get those frame rates that you would like in other games, and you have to be kind of willing to sit with that. Well, you also have to think, what do you need that frame rate? You're not moving a mouse back and forth. You're just moving your steering wheel. The movements of cars, yes, the cars move fast, but your inputs are not that fast. Like, you're not constantly moving the steering wheel back and forth. You're not, pulling that e-brake when you're drifting that often. You're not making all these micro movements as you would playing, like a first-person shooter. So your screen is not needing to refresh that much to still get a smooth experience. Right now, I think I'm running around 60 to 90 frames right now. Yeah, 74 frames or so. You still get this smooth experience that you see on screen. All right, now going into the fourth thing is space demand. So yes, there's different setups you can have for different space. Just looking at my setup, I'll get up. I have a full random profile build with triple screens, and look how much space it takes in my apartment. Just having the rig itself, and then also how wide it is. And these are triple 27-inch monitors, so that's just in perspective. I got a 65-inch TV right here, so this TV almost takes up as much as the whole setup right here. So to have your setup the way you want, it's going to take up a lot of space. And then last, number 5, is noise. Sim racing can be noisy, especially depending on your equipment, depending on what wheelbase you have, what kind of setup you have. There's going to be a lot of rattles, especially if you have belt driven wheels or gear driven wheels. It can be very noisy, and depending on how sturdy your setup is, your wheelbase will shake your setup, especially if you're crashing and stuff. And if you go to try to do stuff like different applications, like a butt kicker to get more of that feedback, or different shakers and different things, those all are going to add noise. So that's something you need to be weary about, especially when you're being more of the budget stage of your setup. You don't really have a sturdy chair. You have a really rackety. You have a wheel like a Logitech wheel where it's gear driven, where you get those those noises and stuff. But pretty much once you go to direct drive, you're fine. You also think about like shifter sounds, like all that clicking sounds, paddle sounds. All that stuff is noisy. And depending on your situation, it can be noisy to neighbors and all that kind of stuff like that. So something to keep in mind. There's some easy fixes. You can wear headphones, and even if your setup has that creaky noise, if you have some good noise canceling headphones, it'll still give you that immersive experience. So that's just something you have to think about. So these are my 5 things I don't tell you about sim racing. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe, and comment if you have anything that you're questioning about, or anything you want me to go more in depth into, or just some overall video ideas to help me grow my channel and get on my way to be able to be able to afford my own sports car one day. Thanks for watching.